What is, what was, and what will be start here with the words, in the beginning there was...
Hello and welcome to the next episode of Bearded Game Masters. As always, my name is Ron, and I'm joined with Mike here.
Hello again.
And yeah, all right. So took a little time off there for the holidays. Hope everyone had a good one.
Internet issues. Yep.
Yeah, all that fun Black Friday shopping. Now that the craziness of that particular holiday is done, damn, do we've got a lot of stuff we want to talk about here, though.
Yeah, we got a lot of ground to cover here.
A lot of ground to cover. See how much we can get done here.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the first thing, I have to say I'm a little surprised on this, is some Battlefield 1 news. Now,
Yeah.
I know, Battlefield 1 really hasn't been on much people's topic of conversations in the gaming world, but this one I actually have to say is I'm a little I'm very surprised that this was a thing that happened.
I'm not really surprised, to be honest, but then there's a bit of actual history that they're trying to recreate here.
I mean, I think that particular thing's. Oh, hold on. Let's.
Yeah.
All right.
Set it up for us, Ron.
There was a ceasefire on Battlefield 1 to honor the 100-year anniversary of the end of the Great War.
Mm-hmm.
And it actually happened. Like, players stopped shooting each other. I think it was only for a few minutes.
Right.
But it actually happened.
Yeah. There were a couple of trolls, but you have them everywhere. But for the most part, everybody laid down their arms, and
like for just a few moments, everybody, no matter what age, stopped and just kind of like just, for lack of better words, stood there in silence.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it probably wasn't silent.
Right.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But they stood there and didn't fire, just to honor the day that this war ended. And I'm really surprised that it happened. If anything, solely based on just trolls.
Right.
But the fact that it actually did, I think, is really cool.
Yeah. Well, this is a lot like during the World War I, you had the Christmas Day truce. A couple spots along the French and German lines, they actually stopped fighting for Christmas Day, and it took a little while, but they eventually got out of their trenches. They had like a soccer match. They just like celebrated Christmas and just not fought for a day. And of course, in the back lines, the generals are screaming, "Get back in your trenches!" But they were like, "Yeah, no, we're not having any of that." And they were like sharing wines and foods and stuff and taking pictures. And there's videos of this, and
there was a movie that did that too, and I can't remember what.
Well, there's a whole YouTube channel that talks about the Great War as well.
Yeah.
But I've always heard about this, and so they hear that they had like a ceasefire in honor of the armistice. I thought it was pretty cool, and it does for me. It kind of it goes in the spirit of that. I mean, with World War I, I mean the whole there was no real evil versus good versus evil, whereas World War II you had good versus evil, clear cut. World War I was really just basically what happens when you have a spaghetti mess of protection packs that get fired off, and everyone's trying to figure whose team they're on, and that's basically how that war just like blew up. I mean, if I really want to go into it, there's more depth to that, but I'm just going to leave it for that for this channel for sure. But I mean, in a way, I'm not surprised. I mean, it's in the spirit of that war. Now, it is a good game, by the way. I'm a little disappointed you didn't have a campaign for the Austrians, but hey,
it is what it is.
It is what it is. It's still a great game. I like it, and I'm glad they did that.
I actually there's. How do I word this? In my age, I've become a bit of a sentimental, nut here. And there's always that, stigmata with like, oh, gamers are, rage and filled, oh, sorry about that. They're, rage-filled, nerds who freak out over every little thing. And I don't know, like
we have our moments.
I mean, of course, who doesn't? But this particular case, it kind of goes in my little memory bank there, if you will, of like just those nerd-related moments that just make you stop and go like, wow.
Yeah.
That the fact that, that was something that happened is...
It gives me hope.
Well, sure. Yes. Let's go with that one.
Yeah.
It also, I'm glad that people aren't stupid and forget about these important things in history that have happened.
Right.
Regardless of how gruesome it may or may not have been. Like, it makes me think there was, oh my God, this had to have been 5 years or so, maybe even more. But there was, I remember reading an article, and actually there was a video on it too for, the Final Fantasy RPG or MMO that had come out a couple of years back, the remake of the one that was really bad and no one played, Realm of Born.
Yeah.
There was, long story short, I want to say there was one of the players in this guild was, I believe they weren't in great of health and they were in the hospital and ends up getting to the guildmates, and then they kind of do like this whole real big like, I don't want to say get well soon because I don't believe that the person ended up surviving, but I could be wrong. But they kind of just like, yeah, you know what, let's just go with the get well soon. Like, thinking of you kind of thing in this game. And it was streamed, to this particular person in their hospital room. And it was like, you can go online and find it. Like there's better articles that explain everything than what I'm doing right now. But to me, hearing about that one, the Battlefield 1, yes, obviously it's a little bit different, but it just makes me go like, wow, people don't necessarily suck all of the time. Like they just, they do some nice things and just honor or remember people. So, hey, if you're one of those your Battlefield 1 players that, had done this, kudos to you. You get internet gold for that one.
Gold star sticker for you, bud.
Of course. But on the less sappier notes here, we do have something that's kind of interesting.
Right.
I mean, this could go out for a couple of conversations here, but we've got Sony skipping E3 2019.
Yep.
I'm not going to lie. I was a little very surprised by that. I know, Mike, we had talked about this plenty of times. I know you necessarily weren't,
Right.
You're on the bandwagon of like they're gonna announce the PS5.
Well, actually, I what I think it is they ran out of musical talents to put on the stage.
I mean, maybe this past year's E3 wasn't.
It left me confused. I'm sorry, but yeah,
they had a couple of things that I really liked. When I say a couple, I mean like they did have The Last of Us 2, which I'm definitely looking forward to because the first one was amazing. But the most important one was the Resident Evil 2 remake. Outside of that, I mean, there were other games. I don't remember. I was fanboying. But yeah, we've got Sony skipping E3. I mean, Mike, are you still thinking that they're going to show? They're going to leak or give information on the next console, the next gens?
They got to, because right now it's just between Sony and Microsoft, they're kind of limping along by making variant versions of their consoles, and it's gotta
sell.
They sell, but they need to have a console that's just standard 1080p 60 frames per second out of the box, all their games.
I mean, doesn't the like, for just at least Sony's sake, doesn't the PS4 Pro pump out at that?
Well, I'm talking about release. I'm talking about like release. Like the basic model. We're still doing 720p, where PC gaming is now basically standard 1440p. Yeah. So we need, console gamers need an upgrade. And
I mean, let's be realistic here, though, Mike. Like they could skip E3, not show a damn thing other than what like developers might showcase.
The guy could just show up and the screen behind him could turn blue and the number 5 could come out and he could walk away and that's it.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, there's still like I really don't think it's going to hurt their bottom line either. Like, Sony's still going to walk away and just make a ludicrous amount of money off of what
a lot of this rumor
have.
comes out from AMD, which is working on their next generation of video cards, video graphics stuff. And they kind of hinted the idea that this is, that the PS5 is coming around the corner. Yeah. So it's not really Sony who's leaking this. It's really like, AMD.
Everyone else?
Yeah, everyone else is doing it.
I definitely think that's going to be something we're going to see about. Honestly, like, I do think we're probably going to hear about it next year, but then not see it until 2020.
I think the best way to find something like this out is, a lot of the rumor mill, like Chinese forums where the chip manufacturers are, and when they suddenly get an order from Sony for all these kind of chips, that's when that information kind of leaks out that, hey, they're starting to ramp up production. I don't know if that's coming around. I don't know if that's yet, but it wouldn't surprise me if next summer is the PS5 announcement.
Maybe.
It's already been a few years, and I don't think we want to start getting back in the cycle where there's a console only every 10 years. 5 years is 8 years tops is plenty of time to start pumping out something better. We are reaching a point where, the difference between the PS1 and the PS2 was phenomenal. The PS2 to PS3, it was pretty good. PS3 to PS4, they were still good. But now you go to PS4 to PS5, you're going to see it better. But the leap, I'm talking about the leap between the generations. It's starting to thin out. But I think, I know I'm going off in different directions here, but the 1080p is, I think, the stock basic, everything's 1080p at 60 frames per second. It has to be like the base thing. And this generation, the Xbox One and the PS4, when they first came out, didn't do it. Select games, yes. But so did the last generation was also selecting the 360 and the PS3 had 1080p games, sort of. Some games had it, but not all games. So it needs to be more standard.
Them skipping out on this E3 though, that does
there's
very much work in Microsoft and even Nintendo's corners, very well,
and. Well, we'll see. This is all speculation. So the news is that they're skipping. The speculation is because it's PS5 is coming.
Yeah, and all because they're skipping it doesn't mean that there's not going to be any, trailers or anything for the PlayStation, PlayStation 4 coming out in E3. It's just going to be done by everyone else. And I swear to Christ, damn it, give me my Final Fantasy VII remake footage. I need to know more that is done. Kingdom Hearts is finally finished. It's gold. That's coming out in like a month or so, or two, or something like that. I forget. But damn it, now I want my Final Fantasy VII remake.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Now, Mike, you wanna give me some? You're better on this stuff than I am here.
Yeah, I definitely have
more stuff here with Battlefield 5. It sounds like.
Yeah, I have. Well, I have a great topic that basically segues a few times, but okay. Well. The very first, the PC end of things, the very first ray tracing enabled video game came out, and that was Battlefield 5 through a 20 gig patch and a 2 gig patch after that. So we talked a couple of episodes ago about the NVIDIA's RTX 2080 Ti, which was a $1,200 video card, pre-order video card, mind you, and no games until now, Battlefield 5 had ray tracing, which is basically a different way of rendering reflections and light in games. Now, just real quick, did you get to play Battlefield 5, Ron?
Yes, I actually have it.
Console or PC?
Console.
Is it, quick review, yay, nay, may?
Oh, no, definitely.
Definitely? Okay, definitely.
I'm actually I'm really enjoying this one. Actually, a lot more than Battlefield 1.
Okay. All right. Well, we got a review in there right there. Okay. So So now we have, a game that has ray tracing, and the non-disclosure agreements were lifted, and people were able to start testing this thing. And the $1,200 video card with ray tracing enabled. You do not get 4K gaming. It's unless you like watching a slideshow. 1440p, which is essentially 2K, gets you about 30 frames per second with ray tracing enabled. And 1080p, you can get about 60 frames per second with ray tracing enabled. And what do you see with ray tracing enabled? Shiny mud.
Okay.
And just different ways to see things reflected in windows and water. But you could go back to playing games at 1080p at 60 frames per second at a $1,200 video card, along with a $800 processor and a Windows 10 update, which is not really released to everybody right now. Technically speaking, it is a bit of a leap because before when you do reflections in the water, if you do not see the object, it does not get rendered in the water. Makes sense. Well, with ray tracing, if you do not see the object, it actually still gets rendered and reflects. So there's a lot of calculations going on with this stuff.
That seems silly to do that in a multiplayer shooter.
Right.
Okay.
If you want to just see, to sit down and appreciate the views, yes, it is very pretty. It looks gorgeous. It's great. But when you are trying to do multiplayer combat, you're not really going to care about the little bit of shininess that's on your barrel of the gun, because you walk by a lamp. It's not really going to matter. With ray tracing turned off, the 2080 Ti is just, it blows it away with 4K gaming, 2K gaming, and 1080p, of course. The frames are up there. All right. So if you have, look, ray tracing is its infancy. It just started out. This is all bragging rights stuff. The kids with a lot of money, the whales, and it's going to take time. However, this is not the end of the story. How do I want to go this? Well, let's start with that. AMD was asked if they're going to do a ray tracing card, and they actually had the smartest answer right now. And the answer is, we're basically going to wait and see if this is a thing first. And that's smart because NVIDIA is the one who's price gouging. NVIDIA is the one who's touting this as the reason why you wanted 20 as a new RTX graphics card. AMD is giving them all the rope in the world to hang themselves with. And it makes sense now because a lot of those pre-ordered $1,200 video cards are crapping out. It's what they're calling the space invaders effect. There's this graphical glitch that's showing up on a number of the cards, and they're not working. Some of them are blue screening, but those tend to be fixed with driver updates. A YouTuber, Nexus Gamer, took a bunch of cards that people donated to him to test, and he was able to rule out heat problems with these cards. It looks like it's an actual chip problem. If it's the graphic memory chips or it's the GPU itself, we don't know for certain. But the point is that it's pretty confident that there's a manufacturing problem with the cards. Now, these were all the Founder Editions, the pre-order $1,200 Founder Edition cards. Another YouTuber, I can't remember his... Oh, Joker Productions. He had a OEM 2070 graphics card from Gigabyte, and it did the same thing to him. So this is, the commonality here is the chipset. So something's going on. I think Gamer Nexus said it best, though. If on the one hand, this is about 1% of the cards are faulting. That's pretty acceptable when it comes to hardware failures. That only 1% fail out in the wild. Okay, fine. The problem is, though, this is a flagship product that was pre-ordered, and bought by the faithful, the NVIDIA faithful, at $1,200 a pop. Yeah, the ones that had their card, that bought the hype, that bought the card, they're the ones who are obviously upset, and I don't blame them one bit. It's a $1,200 car. It's like a down payment on a car, for that matter.
Yeah.
It's a lot. So, NVIDIA is eating a lot of crow. They're kind of owning up to it. They're trying to do replacements. Sometimes the replacement cards are also faulting. Yay. So there's a problem. So we'll wait and see. And AMD is kind of playing it low. AMD did release a refresh with the RX 590, which it runs on the same level as an NVIDIA 1060 or 1070 at a fraction of the price. They run from $200 to $300. They're basically an overclocked RX 580, which again is an overclocked RX 480. So they're only in it to kind of stay in the headlines.
Yeah.
There's they're saying there's plans. I haven't seen anything about a flagship card. The Vega cards were supposed to be the flagship, but they've poofed, unfortunately, mainly because a lot of the graphical features require developers to code it into their games. And when you're only 20% of the market, they're not going to go that far into supporting your platform. So there's that. But, AMD does, they are going to do something. I think it's been called Radiant Raves or something like that.
Okay.
But they're going to kind of let NVIDIA own this for a while before they get into it. So, I'm an old fan of ATI. I like the ATI cards. And so I'm still kind of rooting for that aspect of AMD. So hopefully they can, I hope they can get in the market to kind of force NVIDIA to push the prices back down, because $1,200 for this stuff is ridiculous, just so you can see a little bit of shine on your gun barrel and a little shininess in the mud. I don't know. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot to deal with. So, personally, I'd say stick to like the AMD graphic card. The 580 works great. I haven't played a game where I had to tone down the graphics so far. So, and that's games like Witcher 3. I played on full ultra, and I don't have a problem. So, don't necessarily need to get a 1060 or 1070 at like $600-700. So no. So, so that's drama in the graphics industry.
Oh, of course. When isn't there? Now, I heard this little ditty of about another Half-Life.
Let's see. This is the 13th. This is the 15th episode. 15 goes into 5 times. Half-Life 3 confirmed? No, can't be.
No, it can't be.
No,
that's too simple.
Too simple. How about a prequel?
A what?
A Half-Life 2 prequel.
Why? Where?
Yeah.
I want 3.
Well, you're not gonna get 3. No 3 for you.
Oh no.
So, according to Valve News Networks, Valve is working on their own homegrown VR headset, and they're going to push a new Half-Life game that's kind of dependent on this thing to kind of push it along. They are not happy with the way VR is going right now, and they think they could do it better. And the selling point is a new Half-Life game, but it's going to be a prequel to Half-Life 2. So we're still not going to know what happened to Alex.
Joy. I mean, to be fair, too, I do believe they had said before they were working on a VR unit.
Right. And this they're going to bundle it, or at least they're going to push it with a Half-Life game.
Yeah.
Um,
So, but now here's the big question is,
right,
I don't want to own a VR unit. They're expensive. I'm
right.
cheap.
Well, I mean,
Do I can still play it, right?
knowing the money that Valve makes, they could easily sell this at even or probably even at a loss. I mean, the point is they want this stuff out. And I think there've been some specs out about it. It is going to be, high quality resolution and frame rates in this thing. So this is not going to be, pixelated mess. They're really committed to trying to make something that's going to be user friendly and fun.
Yeah.
So look, I actually hope they pull it off. I'm not so crazy about VR only because I'd hate to be the guy. I hate to see a population of gamers where you could tell who play VR by the red line around their eyes from wearing the goggles constantly all the time. I'm waiting for that to happen where you could just look at them and you could, like Mark of the Beast. They're done. These poor guys have been baked into whatever fantasy game they're playing. I don't want to be that guy. On the other hand, I mean, I wouldn't mind, I'd be interested to at least take a look at what Valve is going to do. I'll be honest. So
is there word of releasing this Half-Life 2 prequel that's not a VR version?
I don't know. Knowing Valve, it's going to be kind of like it's going to be like required part of it.
I mean, probably. I hope not.
Yeah.
But because anyone who doesn't have a VR unit or can't afford it, they are expensive.
Oh, yeah. No. And you have to have the room for it, too.
You have to have the room for it, and you have to have the machine that can run it,
Right. Right.
There's plenty of people who do, PC gaming on a budget PC, and...
Well, just so you know, the RX 580 does support VR.
Oh, well, there we go.
There you go.
Plug that while we're at it. I mean, I guess getting any Half-Life game is good.
That's not
maybe not the one that everyone wants.
And it's not like a story-driven comic book like we just got like a while ago.
Yeah.
That was when I saw like Half-Life, I was like, whoa, oh, it's a graphics novel.
Yeah, damn it.
And it's not even really about it's not even like Half-Life 3, the graphics novel. Like I think at this point I'd be satisfied with that. Right. Honestly, I want Gordon, save Alex, end of story. The two get hitched or whatever, maybe. I don't give a damn. Just save her.
Yeah.
Damn. I mean, which was episode 1 and 2 are basically escort missions for her. I devoted time. Anyway, Godspeed, Valve.
Yeah, fingers crossed. We both know you're going to make a buttload of money off of that. So
not that you're not doing that already, but
Yeah, you're going to make more of all the money.
Right.
So
yeah.
There was another drama-filled, interesting little fun if you're a fan or not.
Yeah.
More so if you're not.
Ron's favorite man.
So everyone's favorite Cliffy B.
Mm-hmm.
I guess he went on a bit of a rant on Twitter.
No.
Yeah. Well, I mean, who doesn't on Twitter? But he went a bit of a rant on Twitter.
What's he complaining about now?
Well, apparently, so, there was that studio that Cliffy B was running that, had, didn't last, and it shut down, Boss Key Studios. And, there was, one of his, fans, I guess, or followers, if you will, on Twitter had, he asked for a refund on a purchase of Lawbreakers that he bought.
Wow.
I couldn't tell you what platform, but he bought Lawbreakers, which,
man.
Just in case, anyone doesn't know, Lawbreakers was the one game that Boss Key Studios came out with, and it was a competitive hero shooter that actually wasn't bad. Like, it wasn't a bad game.
But it was released in the middle of a million other hero shooters.
Well, yeah, it was released during the the hero shooters craze that we had.
Yeah.
And its biggest competitor was Overwatch. Son, you didn't stand a chance. You know, a little studio going against Blizzard. But regardless, it actually, like I said, it actually, like, I have it. I guess you could say I have it. I mean, I have the image of it on my PlayStation, because you can't play it anymore, but I'll get to that in a second. It was a hero shooter that came out that actually wasn't bad. Like, I played it, I had fun with it, and then Boss Key Studios is like, yeah, we're closing down. And everyone's like, okay, well, we bought this game, and everyone, we really like it, so, we can get, like, like LAN, settings so that we can play like LAN parties or like private servers or anything that we can keep this game going because, like, hey, we spent money on this.
Right.
Some people paid full retail price on it. And they were just like, no, we can't. We can't put LAN play into Lawbreakers. It's not coded and it wasn't built around that and all that stuff. Even though they did have a tournament-ish for it, which had the ability to play it offline, on your own personal LAN setup. So there was kind of a bit of a thing going on there. But anyway, anyone who owns the game, you can't play it. It's not something you can access anymore. So apparently, one of his followers on Twitter asked for a refund. And he went on a bit of a rant and ultimately ends up saying that he will never make another video game ever again. And the world weeps. Yeah. I'm not particularly a big fan of him. Like, he did some decent work. I'll give credit where it's due.
Unreal 2004 was pretty much the last thing he did right for me, and that's it.
When how do I word this? Okay, so he's pissed off like everybody at some point in time because he's a bit of an idiot. When he runs his mouth like, okay, you made some good games. Yeah, all right, you got some talent there. I'll give you that.
Right.
Just don't talk. Just don't go on camera. Don't talk. Don't do any of that stuff. You're worse at it than I am. At one point, you help make Gears of War, which did really well.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then when, like, the first one came out and, like, everyone played it and they liked it and PC players played it and they loved it and they're like, hey, you're making a Gears of War 2. Us as PC players, are we going to get this? And you're basically like, no.
Pirates bad.
Yeah, and all sorts of stuff. You insult your fans on PC.
He was also really upset because at the time, Microsoft released Vista, and he was more upset that Vista wasn't 64-bit only. In a time where most PCs were coming out with only 2 gigabytes of memory, which a 32-bit operating system would work fairly well, with no problems. Yeah. And he was upset that we didn't just go straight to 64. Well, you go ahead and make your own operating system and try to support, billions of people. All right.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah. I mean, man, I don't know what I like. I don't know what to say where I don't sound insulting to a guy that I've never met who has a shit ton more money than I ever will. But you know what? Like, I don't care. Like, all right, you did Gears. Cool. Kudos to you. It was a fun series. I enjoyed it. You did Lawbreakers. Right. Hey, it's a fun game. It's a shame that, you didn't maybe wait to release it or, support it or, do anything that you said you were going to do with that game. But instead you decide like, hey, we're going to make a battle royale game and we're going to half-ass it really hard because that's the craze right now. And then maybe we can actually get this studio running. And then you release that game, and I'm putting that in very, quotations there. What was it? It's something Heights, Extreme Heights, or Radical Heights. Radical Heights. That's what it was. I'd never played it. I wouldn't download that piece of shit on my PC. I've seen plenty of videos on it, and for someone who claims, to be so good, and well, no, that's not fair because he is good.
Yeah.
But for someone to talk as highly of himself as I've seen, and then talk down on your fans as much as you've seen. Like, I kind of expect more from you, and I wasn't impressed by that. And like, all right, hey, your studio shut down. It sucks. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry about the people that work there, but like, you say you're never gonna make another video game.
He'll make another video game.
I mean, he's gonna want money. Everyone wants money.
Yeah, I don't blame him there. He'll make another game. Just you got to give him some time now. He's got to cool off.
Yeah, he's got to,
His likelihood, he's going to have to like work for somebody else for a while.
I mean,
like be hired by another studio and work on a project, and just someone like that. They have a good talent. I mean, he's made great games. All right, I won't deny him that.
He's made a few.
He's got a hell of an ego. All right, which is fine. Sometimes you need that when you're coding and all that stuff. That's fine. Mm-hmm. You need people around him to kind of contain the ego. And if you're the captain of the ship and you got the ego, that can sometimes go awry. So let's say I don't know. Let's say Ubisoft decides to hire him and or whatnot, and they want to do something. Maybe they want to. Or hell, even Microsoft has said, "Hey, can you make another Gears of War for us?"
Yeah.
Here's $1 billion. Do it. I don't know.
I mean, it's definitely possible.
Yeah.
Be realistic there. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if I'll do the only bit of defending for him that I will. Yeah, you know what? I want to defend him now that I think about it, but then part of me is just like, maybe I shouldn't because you were kind of a dick when you said it this way. But when the fan asked for a refund on a purchase of a game that
well, I mean, to do it on Twitter to the guy who owns the company, but he's not the actual the company itself, the bean counters that have to deal with that stuff. He's just the guy who set it up.
He's the guy who set it up and also went plenty of times on record saying like, this is mine. I own this.
Right.
True. The company that I own owns this. So for having someone ask like, hey, is it possible to get a refund on a game that I paid you for? And
eating a bit of crow,
I don't have access for. And that's the thing too, with Lawbreakers, for example, they were still selling that. So when Boss Key announced that they were closing their doors,
right.
All right. Let's just, for sake of conversation and to make this significantly easier for the both of us, let's say on Monday they announced they were closing their doors on Friday. Mm-hmm. Hey, Friday is our last day. Boss Key Studios is no longer. Blah blah blah. They were still selling Lawbreakers at full retail value, knowing that anyone who bought that come Friday at like 12 a.m. You don't have access to it anymore. Yeah, you gave me $60 for however little bit of time you got to play it, and that's it. Like,
that's.
I don't blame anyone asking like, hey, is it well, depending on the way that the person asked, of course. But if anyone going with like, hey, is it possible to get a refund for this because I paid you for this and I can't access this anymore, which is probably one of my bigger gripes when it comes to particular games like that.
Or to ask, hey, do you plan on issuing refunds for people who've like purchased this game, like the
week of you guys closing, the week before,
like the day
like
before
that?
You guys announced that you're going to close down,
like what's the time frame here that we get that his first I wouldn't say his first reply, but one of his replies to this particular person or just in general was like when his studio was shutting down, like he made sure all of his employees left with severance packages or whatnot, basically taking a jab at Telltale. I don't know why. I don't know if it was trying to be like, hey, I'm better than that person, so get mad at them and get your eyes off of me or whatever the case is. I don't really know. I don't understand his thought process. I don't care to understand his thought process.
Right.
But you were kind of a douche. Damn it, you've got talent, but just don't talk. Let me put it that way.
Okay.
You don't talk and you just make games, I'm cool. But when you talk and you piss off your fans, first it was PC, and then it was oh my god, you make a game for Microsoft on the Xbox. It becomes a huge hit. It's on Xbox, it's on PC, and then the PC player's like, hey, are we gonna get the sequel? And you're like, no, F you. And then you're all about, the console players and the PC plebs can go away. And then you release a game on a competitor's system, Like the next big game you released, which is Lawbreakers, it launched only on the PS4, and then everyone that was on the Xbox and everyone that was on the Xbox was like, "Hey, we're big fans of you. We've been since the start. Are we gonna see this game?" And you're like, "Oh no, screw you guys. Like PlayStation's the way to go. Like you chase the money." So. I'm just gonna stop because I'm just gonna keep going on about this particular thing. But anyway, hey, don't let the door hit your ass, on the way out.
Yeah. Well, let's go back. Let's go back to a company that, of all the game companies out there right now, they're the least hated. All right, and it's Valve. Unfortunately, it's not good news, and I'm personally really upset about this.
Okay, what you got?
Valve is discontinuing the Steam Link.
Now, just for anyone who doesn't know exactly what it is, Mike just talked about.
Okay.
The Steam Link, and please quote me if I'm wrong on this, but the Steam Link was basically a little box that you could plug into your PC, and you would be able to stream.
Well, plugged into your television.
So you could plug it into your television and essentially stream, a game from your PC onto your TV. So if your PC wasn't in the same room as your TV or whatever the case is, you still had access to all of it. I mean, it was cool in concept. I like the idea of it.
I use it a lot. It's a lot of fun. I mean, I use it. I have the computer in my computer room. All right. TV in the bedroom, and I'm laying in bed, and I don't always go straight to bed. Sometimes I want to watch television, or I take out the Steam controller, which I actually do like, and play some, more of the casual end games, maybe like a Tales of game or what else was playing a lot? No, actually, I enjoyed more the Japanese RPGs on that. But no, I would play games on it, and it wasn't really laggy at all, and it's a lot of fun. I did play some shooters on it. But no, I liked it because I'm in my bedroom. The computer's in the other room. It's nice and quiet because I hate playing a game for a certain amount of time and with headsets on. My ears start getting hot. I like having speakers around me, so this way I could keep the sound low and still just hear everything, and whatnot. But it wasn't just limited to like Valve games either. You could attach any game through the Steam library and it would play it, and so I did get World of Warcraft to fire up through the Steam Link. Couldn't really use it, but the point is that it showed up. You could hook a keyboard and mouse to the Steam Link, and that would work as well. But I just kept it to either the 360 controller or the Steam controller.
And now that I think about it, I regret because I had gotten the Steam controller, and I only had it for a little bit, and I regret not keeping it longer and actually really it wasn't bad. It was weird.
It's different for you because you always had that. For a long time, you were more on the console end. I stayed with a PC and with the keyboard and mouse. The design of the Steam controller feels really nice to me, and the touchpads work well. That touchpad, at least for me as a PC gamer, makes it easier to aim like a gun or something, or a bow and arrow like in Oblivion or Skyrim than the joystick, than the thumbstick. Because the thumbstick, I'm flying all over the place. I can't really. I don't have that delicate touch with it.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing. For me, it was the complete opposite. Trying to play like a shooter and using the touchpad was just really effing awkward.
But they have to play with the settings too,
Yeah. I regret not holding on to it just a little bit longer and trying.
Well, I mean, it's on sales with when they have the big Christmas and summer sales on Valve on Steam. They have it at a discount, but they're selling the Steam Links pretty much at a total loss. They're like $250 a pop. At least I think the sale's actually over, but they're just getting rid of them. It's a shame to be honest, because I think, I mean, the Steam machines failed, and they failed because Microsoft was able to course correct from Windows 8 with Windows 10. And so the idea of a Linux-based Steam operating system kind of went up. And a lot of the enthusiasts who would go for a machine like this, they're all about the benchmarks. They saw that the Steam OS wasn't as on par as fast as a Windows machine. There's just there's a little bit more overhead with that operating system. So I mean, the Steam machine, I could see it did not do well. They didn't really push it well, and the prices on these things were astronomical, and there was a bit of confusion of which model is the one you want to get. There was too many of them. So, but
there was two, and every company had like their own different version of it.
And honestly, if you're a PC gamer, you pretty much already have a good computer. So I always thought the Steam Link was the actual good idea. That's what works, because that's a lot easier to do. You already have the PC. All you need is make sure you have a good router. All right. Mm-hmm. And you could take your PC games into your living room and play Street Fighter 4 on the PC with everybody. You didn't exactly have to have a console version of that, or even a PC only version, a PC only game like Civilization 5. You could play on the Steam Link, and it would work just well. So you could sit on your couch, get fat, eat your Cheetos, and be able to play games in the comfort of your living room, a PC game in the comfort of your own living room, not on your fold up chair in your computer room. So I'm sad, honest. I am, Sam. I am, but there is a bit of a caveat. They are releasing a Steam Link app for mobile devices, mainly Android devices. So if you have, I've been checking it because I have Roku, so I don't see anything for that. But apparently you'd be able to do the same thing that the Steam Link could do with your Android phone. I don't know why, but then, don't you have a phone, Ron?
Yeah, right.
Apple, though, is blocking this for some stupid reason. But it's Apple, and they do dumb things. I don't know if the NVIDIA Shield will do this as well. I would suspect that NVIDIA Shield would support this because, there is and I'm one of them. There is a group of people who like the idea and support the idea of streaming video gaming from the PC to a television device within your own home. All right. And now I'm not talking about the idea of streaming over the internet, which we talked about before. I'm talking about within the house. All right. Which is a lot easier and doable, even wirelessly. I have I have that big Netgear Nighthawk that looks like a spider. And my Steam Link was wireless with that. And I didn't have any lags or any issues with it. All right. I know some people are like, it doesn't work, but then they have like a dinky $60, modem router, and of course it's just not going to do it. It's sad.
Well,
Valve, you're killing me.
Here's to them getting rid of a product that you liked and hopefully maybe replacing it with something that you like even more.
I hope. But until then, I have a closet full of Steam Links, and I hope to make a lot of money off of eBay in the future.
Yeah, right.
No, actually, do not do that. Sorry.
But if it is something that seems like it tickles your fancy, definitely look them up.
Grab it while you can. Grab it while you can, please, people. Even if you don't I don't know if I'll have it. Get it anyway. It's $250.
Yeah. Like you just I don't care who you are. You can afford $2.50.
It's $250. $250.
But definitely something worth looking into.
Yeah.
And then here's just a little bit of I guess
Wow.
interesting news, but also
Yeah.
what the hell is it news?
Yeah.
Apparently, this entire time, GameStop was in the cell phone business.
Yeah.
And I didn't know this. I never really thought of,
Yeah.
looking that up. But I guess GameStop is going to sell Spring Mobile for 700
Million smackers.
700 million? Yeah. Which, I mean, that's cool for them,
Yeah.
but I guess my first question is, what the hell is Spring Mobile?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, apparently there's some sort of partnership with AT&T because in this deal, quite a few AT&T stores are going to be sold because of this. So I don't know if there's when it comes to telecoms, there's a lot of incestuous interconnecting between these companies, and it's an absolute mess. But yeah, GameStop actually had a mobile business. Obviously, if you go to a GameStop, it's not like you see devices and data plans on the wall everywhere. I had no idea until I saw this, but apparently the company itself had a mobile business, and they're just selling it off for cash. This is part of a bigger problem with GameStop. I don't think doesn't know what they want to do anymore. I think they're trying to find their way. Games are going digital, so that's becoming a problem for them. I know they're getting into like they're kind of trying to turn to what Spencer's were back in the 90s, like the gifts and toys, kind of like what FYE's doing now. Because again, everyone streams movies, no one goes and buys a video anymore, DVD anymore. So they're just selling all the the novelty stuff, and that's what GameStop's doing too. I don't know what they're doing anymore, and I think they're just looking for quick cash. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, why the hell they're doing mobile business when they're trying to do entertainment? But yeah, I don't know. I think this is a beginning of a problem with GameStop. I think they need to figure out what they're trying to do. Yeah, I mean, they could turn it around. They just need to focus on something. I know there was rumors that they were actually going to turn into an official Magic the Gathering stores. And kind of cut out the local game stores, and just
Amazon saw to that.
Yeah, and then, Amazon got to that, but there was the idea that GameStops, well, actually, they were going to be the two places to have tournaments, instead of the LGSs, which would just that's just going to kill a lot of hobby stores for sure. They do something like
definitely.
that. So I don't know. And of course, there's the talk that Magic the Gathering is just going to go full digital anyway in the future. So, like I said, I don't know what GameStop's going to do.
I mean, they could just sell games.
If they can, like I said, everything's going digital. I mean, why go to the store and pick up the game with you for the same price? You could just do it at home.
I mean, call me old-fashioned, but I actually like owning a physical copy of the items that I buy.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there, but there are games where you can't get physical copies of. A lot of indie titles are doing that. I mean, it makes sense.
I mean, well, all right. So hold on a second though. That's a little different because indie titles I can almost understand because they're indie. Like,
right.
It costs money to do physical prints of these games.
Right.
But like, if that option there is if there's something that I want to play and I have the option of getting it digital or physical, I honestly don't care if within reason, if the digital is even at a discounted price.
Right.
I'm going to go physical because I want it on my shelf, if you will. Or also,
right.
You buy it digitally and what happens when your system takes a crap out or, whatever. There's too many factors in there that could keep me from accessing something that I paid
there is
full retail value for.
A day will come when Valve shuts down.
Yes.
Not every company is eternal. Some, there are some that stand the test of time. All right, standard oils, not standard oil. Disney's a good example. All right, but there's going to come a time where you're not going to get those games anymore.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Actually, that's a perfect example. Like, I don't
look at Lawbreakers.
I don't get me wrong. Yeah.
All right.
You buy. I mean, granted, even if you bought a physical, like I don't think you could even access it. But that's just because their own particular choices on how they marketed that game and then ended up selling it that way.
Yep.
I I don't know. I would just much rather have physical, but that's just me.
So yeah, sorry for everybody who's on Spring Mobile devices. Yeah, you don't get
all 4 of you.
You're not under the umbrella of GameStop anymore. Sorry.
Which could be a good thing. I don't know.
Yep.
Depends.
So
depends on who you talk to, I guess.
Moving along.
Moving along, though, there was a little interesting thing that happened here. Apparently, we're gonna go to the fun thing, and then we're gonna do the interesting / fun thing.
Okay.
But apparently, CBS is holding their own Gamers' Choice Awards. At one point, I did look up to see like what were the like the categories, like their Game of the Year or whatnot, and I don't remember what. I don't remember what they were, but I do remember looking at them and going like, "Who the hell are you marketing this to?" Because at one point it's like best family friendly game, and it has a list of a bunch of different games, and like a bunch of. It's how do I word this? It's supposedly a choice awards that's gonna have like game trailers and fun stuff that's ahead of it all and whatnot. But it's a big event where they're giving out these awards, and a lot of the stuff I'm just really curious as to like why they're picking it or who are they targeting it for.
Sounds like just marketing.
It's all over. Like I really wish I would have written them down.
Like they know who's going to win. They're just making categories for those winners.
Oh yeah, pretty much. Fortnite's going to win everything.
Yeah.
Which actually leads to what I was going to talk about, because apparently, there's a few people who are questioning maybe the validity of these choice awards, because Red Dead Redemption 2 isn't on. I actually don't think it's on any of the lists, and that's got some people upset.
See, that tells me it's got to be marketing, because that means you have to pay to get into this thing, I
mean, maybe, but
yeah.
I mean, Rockstar's already made all of the money in the world off of Red Dead once over already, so they're trying to go for a second round. I don't know, but I mean, I've never played Red Dead. I know it's a very pretty game, but I don't know anything outside of that. I'm not really into westerns.
I'm still waiting for LucasArts to make Outlaws 2.
I mean, we're all waiting for that, but it's never going to happen, my friend.
No.
But yeah, there's people freaking out because Red Dead Redemption 2 is not on there, but Fortnite's on a bunch of different things. And to get to the whole point of this real fast, I'm just going to say this one time just because, I have to. But there is, I understand it's like the cool thing to hate on at whatever's popular at the time. And I know, hey, Fortnite is super popular. Let's hate on that. All right, fine. Hey, whatever, whatever floats your boat, go for it. But
I actually haven't played it, so.
What, Fortnite?
Yeah.
I mean, I've played it. It's
just never got around to it. I got plenty of games to play with as is. So
yeah, it's not bad. Like I see the appeal to it and why people play it. I'll give credit where it's due. Is name me one game that has made all of the major game competitors actually cave in and allow cross-play. Like name me one game that's not Fortnite that you can play on PC and I can play with you on a PS4, or you can play on your Xbox and I can play on my Nintendo Switch.
Solitaire.
I wish, but even that's not even an option. I understand people hate on it because it's the cool thing to do right now because it's so popular, but hey, at least give credit where it's due. Epic Games made this thing, and they were able to make these companies fold in and allow cross-play with different platforms. Like, hey, Red Dead might be really good, and it's a really pretty game, and like all that fun stuff about it, but it didn't do that, so... I mean, complain all you want, but at least give it where it's give the credit where it's due. Yeah. But I'm going to digress on that one because I'll just talk for a while. Yeah. What I really want to talk about though is, I think first though, let's take a minute here. Let's bow our heads and remember the great canvas shortage of 2018. It was a tough time for everyone.
Canvases never change.
All right, and if you're like one of like 4 people that have no idea what I made a reference to, So Bethesda released Fallout 76 this month, and that has been probably one of the more entertaining shit shows to watch since the Diablo Immortal thing. Actually, I actually think this might be a little bit better to watch than Diablo Immortal.
Actually, I'm more upset that I ran out of popcorn because I was just eating through this this carnival of it's like Bethesda, dig up.
Yeah, right.
Oh, so tell us what's going on here, Ron.
All right, so basically, Fallout 76 was a game that Bethesda released. That was supposed to be
Finished.
Well, hold on. Let's start from the beginning.
Okay.
Here. It was supposed to be basically a multiplayer Fallout-esque survival game. It was. I think it was supposed to take place before any of the other Fallouts. I don't know, but yeah, it was. It's a survival Fallout game is what it is, and like I remember watching it at E3 and going like, wow, this looks like garbage. Like I'm not interested in this in the slightest, and I like Fallout. Like I've enjoyed the series, but like I've enjoyed them because of the RPG, aspect of it, and the interaction with the characters and the world that you build.
Yeah.
But when you tell me that you're making a game that X amount of live players are going to be in, and like, oh yeah, by the way, there's no actual quests. You're not going to find any NPCs. Every person, every NPC you see in that world, in quotations, NPC, is just another player doing God knows what. You immediately lost me there.
But they would not call it an MMO when it's clearly an MMO.
No. Well, light, if you will. But yes, that had come out. Now, when it launched, it was so. Oh my god. You basically have. I think just about every platform is running into different bugs on it. I believe PC might actually be the worst.
Yeah. Well, that was no surprise there.
Yeah, you're running into issues where people are falling through the map, or enemies are just randomly spawning in front of you, or, I mean, Jesus Christ, you launched 3 nukes, which essentially is what you're building towards, like launch a nuke, and then I think it spawns like some boss.
It crashes the servers first, but
it crashes the servers, and that was supposed to be a thing too. There were supposed to be no servers, but there's servers.
There's servers,
I think their words were, you're not going to notice that it's a server.
And they were supposed to be, they're like, there's PvP, but you don't have to do PvP. And there's grades of PvP. And in the end, there's really no PvP anyway.
There's no PvP.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no PvP whatsoever.
Yeah. It's bad. I should say bad. It's lazy.
Lazy's putting it mildly.
Yeah.
Basically when you're reusing assets from a game that you released 3 or 4 years prior, and you don't even hide
and you're using an engine that's been basically the same for about 10 years, and you've got enemies that have been scripted since Skyrim.
Yeah, the big bad, essentially the end boss for the game.
Right. It plays exactly like a dragon in Skyrim. The AI works exactly the same thing. They did nothing to up it up, to change it up, to just add some flair to it. No, they just copied it. Lazy.
Copy paste. Lazy asset.
Right.
And this isn't me, in all honesty, this isn't us just hating on it. There's people who have actually put videos together showing this stuff. And it's lazy.
The engine is still the same. Todd said at E3, old new engine. Bull.
Yeah, he did.
Quarter in the jar. Sorry. But I mean, look, Todd has a history of doing this. He has lied. All right.
Oh, yeah.
All right. I'm not saying misinform anymore because he's done it so much. I won't call it a misinformation anymore. It's just a flat out lie. Ever since Oblivion, where he would say, the AI is not scripted. It's completely scripted. What are you talking about? All right. it's one thing after the other with this guy. And what gets me is that, I'm sorry, I have to get on my rant here a little bit. I got to get my soapbox here. When Bethesda first started out with Arena and Daggerfall, they just, when Arena was like groundbreaking in itself. It was an action first-person RPG game with a weather system, and basically you could do whatever you want. The game was basically a dungeon master, and you played your own story. And Daggerfall added to that. All right, made a huge world the size of Great Britain in procedural generation, like one of the first games with procedural generation, with basically endless amounts of dungeons and whatnot. And again, you were in control. The game was basically the game master, and then in between Daggerfall and Morrowind was these two games, and this tells you everything. There was Battlespire and Redguard. Todd worked on Redguard. And most of the team, I believe, that worked on Daggerfall worked on Battlespire. Now, they were both buggy in their own way. But Battlespire was heavily RPG-ish. There was a lot of dialogue, there was choices, and whatnot. Stats meant something. Redguard was a fully voiced adventure game with a clear beginning, middle, and end. There was really no deviation. And Todd worked on that. So that tells you the mindset. The Howard's more into like the adventure and keeping it simple, stupid. So when he got the reins of Morrowind, a lot of the class skills in Daggerfall were wiped out. And Todd has said that, we need to find ways to make things simpler. What do we not need and get rid of it? And so we went from when we went from Morrowind to Oblivion, we lost even more skills, where suddenly axes and maces were both considered blunt weapons because we need to keep things simple. And eventually, we went with the Skyrim. We got rid of classes altogether because, I want everybody to play whatever they want to play. Well, everyone's going to be playing a fighter, mage, thief, because that's exactly everyone's going to min-max their character in Skyrim, and that's exactly what they did. And they got rid of even more skills because now apparently a thief is just as good with a dagger as he is with a two-handed katana. All right. So, and now we got to this point where you got Fallout 76. There's no questing. There's no story. He basically let people go out and not PvP in an MMO.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah, using the whole you make the story, the adventures, whatever you make it.
But you can't do that if there's no dungeon master system. All right, that's what Daggerfall was for. Daggerfall did that. Daggerfall had a system where you had to follow certain rules, but you were basically on your own. If you did not meet that certain woman on the very first, within the first 10 days, in-game days, the whole main quest broke. You broke the main quest. You couldn't go through the main quest anymore. So if you chose to ignore her, that's it. You broke the main quest. That's fine. You have the whole world for you. You could go join the Dark Brotherhood, one of the Knights, and use your imagination and have a free, a whole story for yourself. That's what that game was designed.
Yeah.
76 doesn't have that. It's just a sandbox without sand.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, okay, I'm done. And they made an MMO out of Elder Scrolls.
Yeah.
All right. I'm sorry.
But now, see, okay, so you released a game that was an asset flip. It really was. It was just a quick asset flip that you charged $60 for.
It should Sid Alpha have a thing about that, by the way, another podcast. He goes after asset flippers. He should go after Bethesda for flipping their own assets.
Yeah. So not only did you release this, it got awful reviews. It is the worst reviewed
7 out of 10
Fallout
IGN,
game.
not enough water. Or was it too much water? It's too much water.
Yeah, too much water. So there's not just that, but then they're running into some legal issue. Well, might be running into some legal issues.
There's a couple of things going on.
Possibly. So first, there's people that there's a class action lawsuit against them for.
Oh, it did. It did get filed.
Oh, I mean, this is last I checked. I haven't looked into it yet.
Because I know there's a law firm, and I suspected that they're always looking for something, and I cannot,
a quick thing.
That's
but what's that?
There's that's not illegal. That's not like a criminal legal problem, but the FTC is now looking at them for false advertising and the whole Canvas situation as well.
Yes,
and the refund, the refund situation too.
So the first thing is the
refund
situation is apparently, excuse me, there were people who tried to get a refund, and
one tore up a GameStop.
There's people who bought this in hopes that it was going to be good.
Yeah,
which I mean,
don't pre-order games
because
don't pre-order games.
You didn't well. Outside of you don't pre-order games, there was a beta, and if you tried the beta and then you still bought this, I question your thought process just a little bit. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like Fallout. I didn't play the beta. I saw plenty of videos on it. I did a little research and I realized, hey, this is not going to be worth my $60.
Right.
Because apparently all the bugs that were in the beta, they just didn't do a damn thing about. No. So like,
even with all the patches,
I'm shaking my finger at you. Yeah. Even with their like 20 gig patch, it didn't do a damn thing.
Once again, modders are trying to fix this game.
Yes, because Bethesda can't fix their own shit. So
disappointing.
There's people trying to get refunds that they couldn't, and then there was basically, people were trying to get refunds and they couldn't, and then it was like, hey, you advertised this product, you came out on stage, you advertised this product, a completely different product than what you're actually giving us. We're not happy about that. So there's a possibility of some legal things going on there. Maybe, possibly, we'll have to wait and see. But the one thing that I do actually think is going to turn into a legal issue, because as slightly ridiculous as I personally think it is, it is messed up. Is the Canvas issue.
Yes.
The Canvas joke that I made mention of there a little back. Basically, the super duper version that you could get
$200.
$200. Yeah, it was a $200 version of Fallout. Which, why would you buy that?
The power helmet.
I mean, sure. I think it's a cool power helmet. I would still never pay $200 for that.
Yeah. $50.
But there are people. Well,
just for the helmet, $50.
Just for the helmet, $50. Sure. Yeah. Okay. But there were people who bought it. And when you got this version of it, you were supposed to get the game, and then the power helmet, and then this some map or some things
figurines,
like that, a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah,
a bunch of other stuff, and a canvas, and it was advertised as a military canvas bag.
Something like that. It's supposed to hold the helmet in.
Yeah, big enough to hold the helmet, and the helmet's big enough that you could fit it on your head. Obviously,
wear it.
Basically, when these people bought these versions and they opened them up, and actually, I didn't know this. I didn't notice this until I watched a video of Yong Ye, opening a box that was sent to him and whatnot. Apparently, it was advertised that you were going to get this military canvas bag, and they basically sent you a plastic bag,
nylon,
a plastic bag.
It's a nylon bag.
Nylon, was that what it was?
Nylon bag.
Nylon bag.
Night and day.
Which is completely not what they were advertising.
No, that's dollar store stuff.
Yes. And then there were people who had asked, WTF, what's going on here at Bethesda? And basically there were two different versions of answers. One of them saying there was a shortage on the there was a shortage on the
there was a shortage of canvases available. A shortage of canvas.
They didn't use the word canvas. It was something else they used, I thought. But for anyway, they were basically saying there wasn't enough canvas to make it. So they know it's an issue, but they're not going to do it.
I could go to the Hobby Lobby and to the Fabric section. There's enough there to satisfy all the guys everyone who bought the $200 version.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, you could go to Walmart and do that.
Right.
And then there was another one, another response from the Bethesda customer service where it was basically it costs too much, so we went this route, but we still think it's worth the money because this is one of our best, super duper versions of games you can buy, which is still a crock of shit.
And basically, if you to boot, they basically like, oh, by the way, if you happen to sign this document, we'll give you 500 atoms for free.
Oh,
which
yes,
is the equivalent of like $4,
thing.
$5.
Five. So yeah, if with enough people freaking out about this, because I mean, all right, yes, I think it's a little ridiculous, but let's just say it was you, Mike. I think it's a little ridiculous, but if you spend $200, wanting these items that are advertised, and that being one of the reasons you spent the money on this, and you don't get even anything close to that,
right?
Yeah, okay, I understand you're gonna be pissed off. You have every right to. It's $200 that you spent,
right, on a promise.
You get your damn money's worth. Yeah. Especially when they're advertising it still, and they're still advertising the military canvas bag. So a little ridiculous, but I completely understand everyone's where they're coming from. But so anyway, yeah. After enough people freaked out about this, then Bethesda went on Twitter and was like, "Hey, yeah, if you contact customer service and prove that you do this, and for lack of better words, sign on the dotted line." We'll give you 500 credits or 500 atoms for Fallout 76, which is $5.
Yeah, basically, it's somebody said there was not even enough to get like a custom shirt.
No, it's not.
No.
It's not enough
to do anything.
Like you might be able to get you might be able to get like a shirt, but it is not enough to really do anything in that, because everything is so damn overpriced in that game. And there's actually there's plenty of like YouTubers that I watch that are saying like, hey, don't do this, because essentially you're waiving your rights to seek any legal action by taking this or by doing this, because apparently the FTC,
Federal Trade Commission,
FTC's I guess possibly looking into this as false advertisement and God knows what else, which hey. Well, they're Bethesda. Why?
They're more looking. They're looking more into the no refund situation than the canvas bag. But it's just they're turning into EA.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it. I mean, they've taken franchises and other companies under their wing, and sometimes it didn't work out very well, and they've ruined a few things. But
don't piss your fans off, especially when it comes to one of a widely popular series.
The fans give you money.
You like money.
Mm-hmm.
Money keeps you running.
Yeah, gives us more games.
Yes. So,
well, this ended in a downer.
Well, you know what? I mean, I don't necessarily think it's a downer. I think it's entertaining.
I'm glad, like when we did when we talked about E3, I did not get my hopes up for this game. I ignored it.
Yeah.
When I was talking about Bethesda, I skipped this because it did not appeal to me at all, and I saw right through it. So, I mean, I could sing and dance here saying I was right, but I'm not. But I'm just going to say that it didn't appeal to me, and I'm glad it didn't, because,
you saved your money.
Yeah. Now, this does not give me a lot of hope for Elder Scrolls 6.
Oh, no. God, no, it shouldn't.
No,
it shouldn't.
because
especially when I'm fairly confident they're not changing the engine that it runs on.
No.
Which means you're going to be playing it on a 14-year-old engine by that point.
This is why I'm so happy there's people out there who are remaking the game engines for some of their games, like Morrowind. There's OpenMW, where they're rebuilding the engine, and it's a lot more stable, and it's a lot faster. Well, to me, it's a lot faster. And they're just they're still working on stuff, like there's no shadows yet or anything like that, but they're working on this thing, and so there's a devotion and love for these games, that's where I'm kind of looking at. You got the Tamriel rebuild. They're rebuilding the whole of Tamriel in the Morrowind engine, or in this case the OpenMW engine, and it's I'm wondering if maybe Bethesda is just going to shoot themselves in the foot, especially if they just continue to use the same damn engine. At this point, Bethesda, go pick up a copy of Unity and just use that for this at this point. Seriously.
Yeah. Well.
I mean.
Yeah.
I know they call it the creative engine. It's the Game Bureau engine from way back. Still, it's been around since like 2000. All right, it's dead. All right, you can't do. It's not expandable anymore. All right, it's you have, or at least if anything, at least you haven't even tried to expand on it. All right.
Yeah.
Ooh, you added God Raids with the Skyrim Special Edition. Ooh, that's nothing. You still haven't been able to get beyond 1080p. You can't change the frame of view with this thing. It's garbage. All right. In 2018, it is now garbage. All right. It's not 2005 anymore, kids.
Yeah. Yeah. Stop.
Todd, stop it. Stop it. Lies. It's all lies. It's all lies from that man.
The cake is a lie.
Man. Ron, I need a fantasy franchise to cling to again. I'm losing it. I'm losing it. I lost Star Wars and I lost Elder Scrolls now. Help me. Teach me about Resident Evil.
here's to hoping that December isn't as much of a ridiculous show as what November was.
Yeah, I hope so. But I'm gonna still buy some popcorn just in case.
Oh yeah, of course. But well, that's our episode. Yep. As always, thanks for listening. I also want to say, I know it's been a little hectic, but holidays and all that fun stuff, and you got Christmas coming up soon, so we're going to do everything in our possibility to at least get a couple more out.
At least get one before Christmas.
At least one more before Christmas. So to those who listen, thank you. To those who come back, I love you.
Yes.
You're a hell of a person.
Right.
As always, like, subscribe, share, all that fun stuff. Questions, comments, please get a hold of us at beardedgamemasters@gmail.com. And take care. I'll see you guys later.
Adios, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.